All right, so we're still here in Kautakya Beach, Thailand, and I've abandoned my Down in the Dirt with Jughead series. I try to keep positivity separated from the negativity, but I'm just going to do it all on one channel. I kind of got disgruntled with the YouTube system for a while. I was censored, comments were frequently censored, and I see a lot of guys that make money here that act like they're speaking freely, but then will give little telltale signs. Oops, well, yeah, don't want to get the algorithm. I don't want to get censored. I don't want to get demonetized. And so YouTube's becoming bullshit. And I have a segment that I'm going to do on that, and a lot of these guys that are doomsayers and talking about how hard it is to live in America while they're making six figures and living just fine. So uh, I'll do a segment on that. But this one has to do with my algorithm. When I first moved here to Thailand, I used to watch a lot of videos about guys that live here and try to garner some advice from them. Most of them were going to the wrong areas. You know, they're going to Pattaya, they're going to Phuket, they're going to Nana, Na, Soy Cowboy, they're messing around with prostitutes. They like to call them bar girls, freelancers, and they're prostitutes. So at any rate, there was too much of that. And in my feed, I was given a video that I started to watch. That's like some British guy with this lady boy, and he's going around Thailand with this lady boy, and it's monetized, man. People are loving it. He's got no shame, and the lady boy's got no shame. What prompted the video topic, which is Entitlement and Egos, is there was a certain segment. I don't know how I got captivated to where I watched this for more than a few seconds, but I did. And I'm watching this just with my mouth open. The lady boy comes on and he says, they're at this luxurious resort, and he says, I'm finally living the life that I deserve. It's at that point that I stopped the video, but it got me to thinking. This mentally ill clown feels like he deserves something. Like he deserves to live in a high fashion. And he really believed that. Or she or it or whatever. They really believed that. Finally living the life that I deserve. And it got me thinking about this sense of entitlement that I've encountered in my travels around the world. And I'll tell you, there's certain cultures that are absolutely more humble than others. There are some that are very arrogant, but just not openly about it, not so open about it. But in the United States, I have encountered uh, so much entitlement that people just feel like they deserve something for no reason. And that's paired with egos. I see a lot of young people, especially of a certain demographic, uh, they just walk around with their heads is just like gigantic. Their chests are puffed out, and they're, man, you know, I'm this, I'm that, you know, and they've accomplished absolutely nothing. Half of them didn't even complete their education. Uh, they haven't made any meaningful contributions to life, society, or their families, and yet giant egos and huge senses of entitlement. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it happened. We were absolutely much more humble when I was growing up. If you had a little bit of trouble with ego, I grew up in a time and a place where people were hands on, and if your ego was too big, there was always the next bigger guy that's going to put you in check. And you know, it's nothing more humbling than a beatdown, right? So I just don't know when it happened. It's certainly not in my generation. I have seen people grow from people that I've known as teenagers that have grown into adults that feel like they're entitled and have egos, having accomplished pretty much nothing. I try to be humble. I've been caught in a sense of entitlement. I think that I've done some things that other people probably haven't done. Uh, my country has asked me to do dirty work for them. I convinced myself it was the right thing to do at the time, and there's a price to pay for that. Um, and so that kind of developed into a sense of entitlement. You know, you guys sent me to go do some dirty work. You don't want to hear about what the work that I was doing, right? Nobody wants to hear those stories. And then when I came back, I had an opinion about what was going on socially, especially in the United States. And I was basically told to sit down and shut the fuck up. And if I didn't, then this was viewed as some type of mental illness, PTSD, something like that. So I've been subject to a sense of entitlement. But if I were to be honest with myself and think about what I did in my service and what some other people might have sacrificed in their service, you know, my service to country wasn't really that special. And I wasn't like a super soldier or anything. I think I was better than some, but I was not the best. I just knew how to talk. I knew how to befriend the right people. I knew how to use the political atmosphere to put myself in positions where I had more autonomy, sometimes authority. And but I don't credit that to outstanding soldiering skills. And I do retain a certain sense of entitlement. I do feel that some of my functionality in society was damaged by the things the country asked me to do. So, didn't mean to turn the subject to myself. I was just talking in a general sense about ego, entitlement, and wondering how this happened. So if anybody's watching this, you want to make some comments, enlighten me, help me figure out why a 15-year-old kid from Southside Chicago that is illiterate, that's never held a job, that basically all their worldly possessions are on their person. They haven't contributed anything. They might have law enforcement record. Why are you so proud? What's going on in your noggin, man, that you think that you're somebody special? You know, I don't know if anybody's ever had an experience of being incarcerated, but that's kind of interesting in the same sense where these guys, man, they would come in off the street, and now you're forced in a living situation with these lunatics, and they demand respect from you. And I remember a conversation I had with one guy, and I was like, you know, you feel like you're entitled to all this respect, man, but nobody was respecting you out on the street. So I'm not really sure fuck you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. It's not easy to reason with people like that. It didn't work out well. But point being is that where is this sense of entitlement coming from? Where is this sense of accomplishment? How is this happening when it's so obvious that some of these people with these gigantic egos have accomplished literally nothing? They're just illiterate fools that can only steal and rob to support themselves. And yet they got their chest puff out, and you better step aside when they're moving down the sidewalk, because by God, it's them. Yeah, I don't know how it happened. It's quite an interesting phenomenon and pretty fucking scary. I can tell you my kids are humble. And I don't know if that's a genetic trait or whatever, but I never felt any sense of entitlement or ego from any of my children. So in that sense, I'm kind of a proud dad. that they're not like that. They don't feel entitled. They don't feel special, and they're making their contributions in the areas where they need to. They should be proud, but I prefer that they're humble. So for those of you who might be able to reflect upon yourselves, remember that you're not that special. And I'll use myself as an example. If I were to pass today, there would be a few people that might feel poorly for a little while, but rest assured, the world's going to continue. And it won't be long before my name's forgotten. How many of you know the first name of your grandfather's father, your great-grandfather? That's what that would be, right? How many of you know the first name of your great-grandfather, or what he did for a living? Maybe a handful of you. But his father, or his father before him? Why is that forgotten? So remember that the world's just going to keep going without you, and you will be forgotten. And it's only the few names that we remember, and usually it's the wrong names. Usually we remember the names of the people that can hit a ball really far, which does absolutely nothing to advance the human condition. Those people are heroes. But the dude that invented the procedure that can save your life, whatever it might be, that guy, we don't know his name. So I think we're just confused as a people, and we assign ourselves a certain importance that it well exceeds our actual value in life. Everybody be okay after I'm gone. There's no shame in that. So I'll just end the video. I know I babble a little bit, but that's my shtick, man. You know, if you like it, watch. If you don't, what can I tell you, man? I'm gonna be on here talking like so many other people do. They throw around statistics. They throw around this. We have no idea if they're just making those numbers up, man. We don't know. Be careful on YouTube, bro. You know, we don't know who you're talking to or you're dealing with. Half the dudes that are on YouTube talking about how hard it is in the United States are doing just fine, man. They're making six figures off of YouTube. They might have other jobs, other sources of income. They're doing just fine, man. They're just capturing an audience that's interested in, you know, misery loves company type of situation. Those dudes are just manipulating you. So that's a different topic. I don't know why I strayed to that. Kind of a little bit here, a little bit there. Many of us are. And the more I do this, perhaps the more I'll be on topic. But I want to end this by saying you're not special. You could be special to people if you try. But let's go ahead and take some of the air out of these egos. And remember that nobody owes you anything. And you probably don't owe anybody anything either. We just owe it to each other to behave like human beings and be good to each other. And stop trying to get above the next guy. Stop trying to look down on the next person. Because you've inflated yourself artificially. And in the long term, that's going to create a lot of issues for you. So tamper the egos, tamper the entitlement, be humble, be good, and be well.